I'm Mel Carter.
Hi, I'm Sharon Carter, and this is my name sign. The two of us will be your hosts today for a very special program. The Cochlear Implant and the Deaf Community's View.
Recently, there have been several new developments in the cochlear implants. But what exactly is the cochlear implant? And do deaf people who are implanted, do they get their hearing back? And if they do hear again, what exactly do they hear and what does it sound like? These questions and concerns of the deaf community have different implications. And what are the implications for those people who have heard before and people who grew up and have never heard before?
The purpose of this program is twofold. First, we would like to give you some information about the ear and how the cochlear implant works. Secondly, we would like to provide the perspective of the deaf community and what do they think about the cochlear implant. Let's proceed now with information about the ear and how the cochlear implant works. Normal hearing works with the use of sound waves. Sound waves are made up of frequencies. The different sound waves travel into the ear. They continue traveling down the ear canal to the eardrum. The eardrum converts these sound waves into vibrations. These vibrations are carried through the 3 small bones. Each small bone carries the vibration one by one. This leads to the oval window which leads into the cochlea. As the vibrations hit the oval window, the vibrations carry on into the cochlea. We will use this sign to indicate the cochlea. Inside the cochlea, there is a thick fluid. As the fluid moves, the hair cells which line the cochlea also move. As the vibrations hit on the oval window, it is converted into vibrations in the fluid, thus moving the hair cells in the cochlea. Also with the cochlea, there are auditory nerve fibers. This is the auditory nerve. The auditory nerve and the hair cells work together, and I'll show you that in another diagram. This is the cochlea. We'll move it over here, put it on its side, cut it in half, and this is a cross-section of the cochlea. The auditory nerve fibers are located here. They are also located here throughout the cochlea. The auditory nerve fibers come together in a trunk-like formation comprising the auditory nerve. The auditory nerve fibers are spread throughout the cochlea. The hair cells are located here. The hair cells are located nearby auditory nerve fibers throughout the cochlea. Let's look at this. This is the area where the hair cells are nearby the auditory nerve fibers and need the fluid in which to move. This thick fluid moves the hair cells and assists in this movement down here. As these hair cells move and press down, an electrochemical reaction occurs, thus emitting impulses that will travel up the auditory nerve fibers. They will travel here, here, moving along the fibers to the auditory nerve. And that's how hearing works. People who are deaf, who have had some damage in their ears, we will discuss this more in the next diagram. This area here is the outer ear. Physicians can visually inspect the outer ear to see if there's any damage there. If there is, it can be corrected. This area comprises the middle ear. Through audiometric testing and hearing assessment, damage in this area can be discovered. If there is damage, it also can be corrected. The remaining area is the inner ear. Also through hearing tests and other forms of assessment, damage can be discovered here, but it cannot be repaired. It's possible that the cochlea itself does not exist. It's possible that the auditory nerve is damaged. The hair cells may be damaged or missing, but a doctor would not know what the cause of the damage is. The only thing that they would know is that the brainstem would not receive any information through the auditory nerve, and that would let us know that there's been damage. Doctors have long been fascinated with the cochlea and have wondered how they can restore hearing to this area. Research has led to some technological advances. In the 1960s, there was an invention. It was called the single-channel cochlea implant. What did it look like? A part of it looked like a conventional hearing aid. There's a small box that you wear on your body, the size of a deck of playing cards. There's also another part that is inside of the head that cannot be removed, including a wire, an electrode, and that is called the single electrode. This is a picture of what it looks like. The microphone is located here. This brings in all the different sounds, the different frequencies. This travels down the wire to the processor. The different frequencies are converted into a single frequency in the processor. The processor then travels up a wire to the transmitter. From the transmitter, the information goes to the receiver. The receiver has been surgically implanted by drilling a hole through the mastoid bone. The receiver is implanted inside, and the transmitter is located on the outside and held in place with a magnet. The receiver is connected to the electrode. The signal then travels down the electrode. The electrical signal is then emitted into the cochlea. Let's look at the cross-section. This area here will be the only area that the electrode will emit the signal. It will emit the signal to one auditory nerve fiber. It will not touch other auditory nerve fibers. And that is how the single-channel electrode works. Many researchers found that the variety of frequencies was very limited, and that it was reduced to only environmental sounds because it was just one flat frequency. People would have to identify environmental sounds through the use of rhythm. Doctors were not satisfied by this. So then it developed to an 8, 16, and then finally a 22-channel cochlear implant. This 22-channel implant basically looks the same as the single channel, with some differences. Again, this is the microphone, and with all the environmental sounds are brought into the microphone and sent to our processor. This processor is more complicated than the single-channel processor. We have different groupings of frequencies from high to low. These frequencies are divided into groups, totaling 21. These different frequencies brought together are converted into a single frequency that represents that group. The same is done for the following groups of frequencies. This processor will convert this sound into what would be a false or artificial type of frequency. Just as in the world we have different colors, if an individual could see only one type of red, for instance, if we had an artificial implant, and the brain could only perceive one shade of red out of a variety of reds, or one shade of yellow out of a variety of yellows, the brain would only be able to pick up these certain artificial shades. That would be the same with the sound frequencies. This processor converts in this manner. With the 21 frequencies for the 21 electrodes, plus the 22nd electrode is for the electrical charge. It is sent to the transmitter and then to the receiver. This works just the same way as the single-channel electrode. The signal is sent to the receiver and then through the 22 electrodes. The signal travels down the 22 electrodes, which are woven into the cochlea. These 22 wires are thick like a cable, and a hole is made through the round window. The electrode is then inserted through the round window and woven into the cochlea.